We are Pia Orlean
and Cullen Baird Smith,
bringing wisdom from the stars through our Pleiadian friends, Laarkmaa.
Hello, dear ones. We are Laarkmaa, and we are here to support you on your evolutionary journey. Today, we promise to discuss with you a larger perspective of your experience of who you are. We know that you focus a lot upon your conscious reality, what you are aware of, and you are working ever so hard to always raise that conscious awareness. But we want to take you from our perspective into a larger perspective of the total beingness of who you are. You are not only this physical self that is living here in the third dimension, having the experience that you awaken to every day and go to sleep to every night. That is only a small portion of who you are. We have spoken to you previously about the fact that you are here in this lifetime, integrating all aspects of who you are from multiple parallel lives. You have 2 strands of DNA that are acknowledged and recognized in the third dimensional scientific experience. However, in the larger reality, and what your third dimensional science has not yet discovered, is you have many, many more strands of DNA in your total being. That there are 12 to be exact, and each one of these connects to a parallel life that you are experiencing simultaneously, or sometimes several parallel lives that you are experiencing simultaneously. Our favorite example is to tell you, if you were standing in a large circle and you looked around you and you saw 12 doors with you being in the center, you are standing at the point of integration. But you can imagine opening any of those 12 doors to access another part of who you are. Now, within those doors are secrets, blockages, hidden things that you do not know about yourself, and gifts, talents, and wondrous things you have not yet discovered. Your parallel lives are part of who you are, the totality of who you are. You are, in your parallel lives, able to do things that are not necessarily exactly what you're doing in this life, but are definitely related. One way to acknowledge that you're having a parallel life experience is when you find yourself overreacting to something in this life. That means you have simultaneously uncovered a blockage from a parallel life that you are working to clear. So therefore, you are, at this moment, when you discover it, you are working to clear it by having an emotional reaction that you must deal with. That's one way of accessing parallel lives and integrating them. Another way to access it is through a moment of bliss, when all of a sudden you remember something that you can do, or you discover something you didn't know how to do, or that you didn't know you knew how to do. This is the part of discovering the gifts that are held within your parallel lives. Now, here on this planet, you tend to focus upon what's called the linear arrow of time. You focus on a perceived past and a perceived or hoped for future, and you are in the present moment. But most of your consciousness, even knowing that, is not focused on the present moment. It's focused on wishing things had or had not happened in the past, and focused upon fear or expectation of something that will happen in the future. Dear ones, in the true cosmic reality, this is not how things work. Energy is everything. Everything is energy, and all energy manifests in your experience in a spiraling direction. It spirals around through familiar points and unfamiliar points so that you can integrate and correct what is unfamiliar into what is familiar. In other words, you are integrating where the blocks are every time you work through one, and you're integrating where the gifts are every time you accept one. And as you do this, you go around the spiral another time and another time, each time gaining access to other strands of your DNA and opening you to what we call cosmic remembrance, of who you truly are. When we wrote and dictated to Tia and Cullen, Remembering Who You Are, Healing the Human Condition, we alluded to some of these other things and other experiences. But the main focus of the book was to take you into a deeper, direct experience of your lifetime here on Earth, to understand more fully how your emotions are signposts signaling where you have work to do, to understand more fully how your thoughts help you to manifest intentions, and you must choose your thoughts consciously, helping you to understand the various components of healing, because what you're doing now in this process of integration is healing all imbalances. Things that you may have not quite gotten right, or that you failed at, or that you perhaps didn't do properly in a parallel life, which we know you can access here now. Those things come to you as frustrations, anger, grief, sorrow, things that you have to work through here, now. It has nothing to do with needing to go into the past and look at what you did. It has to do with bringing that dimension of that parallel life here into the now, in the present moment, and opening to it to find the way to heal it. Now, the way to heal it is by exploring and stepping into what is unfamiliar, not something that is familiar to you, but something that is a little unfamiliar, something that may be, according to Cullen's formula, which we like very much, 50% scary and 50% exciting. It's exciting because it's new, unfamiliar. You've never done it before. It's scary because it's new, unfamiliar. You've never done it before. But that's the balanced formula to help you heal all those places of stagnant energy, energetic blocks, places where patterns are looping over and over and over again, not only in this life, but in other lives as well. So we want to help you expand your awareness and recognize the largeness of your cosmic being. You are more than a third-dimensional person expanding into the next step of dimensionality. You are already a multidimensional being who is opening to remembering what it is to be multidimensional. Now, some of you may access this memory through the dream state, perhaps remembering how to fly, or perhaps remembering what it feels like to be totally supported by and giving to the spirit of unconditional love, where there is no struggle in relationship because everybody is working from the heart, doing everything and making every choice for the highest good of all. And the freedom that you experience through your dreamtime flights might show you that being tethered to the earth is only one part of your experience. You are free to expand and to motivate yourself to explore other dimensional experiences. This is important. We want you to begin to consider what is outside of your training or your memory. Your memory has to do with the past. So does the training. Those things do not exist in your now. And your now is spiraling up and up and up to higher vibratory recognition, realization, and other dimensions. And because of that, you want to stay in the present moment as much as possible. Now, it's a good thing to learn from things you have experienced, but it is not so positive for your evolution to cling to the expectation that that learning will always come the same way in a new experience. In other words, if you have learned that you can't trust a certain person, that's a good thing, so you don't trust without gaining their respect. You have to respect who they are, and they have to respect you before you learn to trust them again. That's the limits of third-dimensional experience about what you've learned. But the cosmic experience is to expand and say, just because I learned that this person cannot be trusted does not mean I cannot expand the energy of the possibility of trust to all other beings in the universe. Let them show me who they are, and then I can share my trust with them. So you're expanding your perspective to a larger dimensional, multidimensional way of trusting in possibilities rather than clinging to training that people will betray you, that people can be untrustworthy. While the former is true, it can be limiting in new experiences. It is only meant to be used in relationship with the person that gave you that lesson. That's what it's meant by learning from your experience. Learn from your experience with that particular person, that particular job, that particular set of circumstances. But do not carry those things over into the larger reality of other people, other beings, other jobs, other experiences, and other things that you may not have even yet imagined. You are awakening to your gifts. You are awakening to your talents. That's something else that you need to be a little bit brave about. Most of you are pretty comfortable doing what's familiar, what you feel good about doing, what you know. But as you're expanding to become your future selves, you need to remind yourself that you can explore being another way too. You can explore perhaps not needing to be so defensive, but just watching to see what another person's going to say or do before you present what you wish to share. You can explore what that would feel like. And if you find that you're not a defensive person, but you're totally wide open with everybody, you might wish to explore what would it be like to watch another person and let them disclose who they really are. Tell me and show me who they really are before I open myself to them. In other words, we're talking about changing entrenched patterns of behavior. We're talking about getting you out of the loops that cause your blockages and your pain and your suffering. We're talking about imagining a different way to be in the world by putting yourself in different and foreign experiences that you have not yet experienced. This is a very exciting time. If you focus upon what's happening in your third dimensional earth, as we have in many of our conversations with you, you can see, sense, feel, hear, know how the dark is really trying to control the agenda of what's going to happen to your species. And that can be quite limiting to focus only on that. If you focus on the fact that you are here for a purpose, to bring more light into an evolving species and an evolving planet, and you may not know what that looks like, but you are dedicated to your purpose. If you focus upon that, you automatically expand your consciousness to allow in the whys and the hows, the whats and the wheres of how that can unfold for you. Right now, all those questions are unanswered. You don't know how, you don't know where, you don't know what. There's only one answer that we can give you, and that is the when. The when is now. Everything that you do in the now is co-creating what comes next. This is why it is so important not to ask about future dates, but to focus upon what's happening right now. What can you explore in this moment? What can you free yourself from an imagined past? What can you let go of a fear about a future? What can you let go of about an expectation about a future, a situation, or another person? You are working on freeing yourself from all the bonds of limitation that have been your experience here in the third dimension. You're working on freeing yourself from all of the judgments you have held within your heart, your mind, your thoughts, and your behaviors. Freeing yourself instead to discern rather than judge, and then decide what is the best connection, what is the best course of action, what is the best direction to take, what is the what, the how, the where, and the all of those elements. The when is the now. Pay attention, dear ones, to every single precious now moment. Now, we do know that many of you are suffering physically, emotionally, mentally, on multiple levels of your human experience. But from our perspective, what we see is this is such a tiny part of who you truly are, the totality of you that is governed by your soul, the you that is free in the universe, the you that is here integrating other experiences from parallel lives, that it doesn't really benefit you to focus entirely on what you're experiencing here in this earth world. It pays to pay attention to what you're experiencing, but not to focus upon it, neither the delightful parts nor the painful parts. Notice them, be objective, integrate them, know that they are part of who you are, but they are not your total experience. Part of the reason we are telling you all of this today is we continue to prepare you for the cosmic pop. We continue to prepare you for that leaping off point. We continue to prepare you for the moment of rainbow bodies fully blossoming, for bursting out of the caterpillar fully into the butterfly. We continue to prepare you simply because it can occur in the blink of an eye. In any moment, all of these things are possible, but you cannot pin a date of some future time. You must focus upon the now. We will give you some third dimensional information to help you orient here in your experience. And this is something that's a win we have shared with you before. It is not a prediction because we don't make predictions, but it is a perspective from our broader viewpoint. And that is that the energies are accelerating very, very quickly. And we feel that by October, in your Gregorian time of this year, you will be experiencing massive changes in one form or another. Now, because we're encouraging you to live in the now, we don't want you to focus on October. We want you to prepare in this now moment. Love the people you love with all your heart. Do not judge them. Discern who they are and either accept them as they are or walk away from them because they are not resonant. Give yourself entirely to your career, your job, or what you do in service. Or if it is not resonant with you, walk away from that too, for you are on a new path, going on a new way of finding service. Remember in every single moment that whatever you are experiencing, whether it is blissful or painful, is part of your journey that your soul wants you to gain something from for the overall picture of who you are, not for your third dimensional experience. So do not limit your vision or your understanding only to what happens next here in the third dimension. You are multidimensional beings, and you are expanding into multidimensionality. We will leave you with these thoughts and with our love, and we sprinkle Pleiadian stardust over you every day, every moment, every now second, so that you can tap into our assistance, our love, our presence, and our support. We know that you will accomplish everything you came here to do simply by staying in the now and focusing upon possibilities of your larger conscious self rather than only focusing upon limitations that you have thus far experienced. So go demultidimensional, go inward, go upward, go outward. You are everywhere. You are divine beings of light and love. We love you. Good always.
Check out our books, card deck, calendars, and articles at laarkmaa.com. This message was taken from one of our live calls. If you would like to join our future live calls, please join our email list at laarkmaa.com. That's LAARKMAA.com.